Welcome to this evening's or this morning's or this afternoon's masterclass on land your leads. I'm so excited to be able to bring you this topic because it is one of the biggest topics I think in the coaching industry is where do you actually find your clients? How do you bring them to you? Where do they even come from? Like, is it a magical unicorn that exists or, what is it that you need to do? And I hear people saying so often, I don't have the finances to be able to generate leads. And I'm here to tell you, you do not need them. My entire coaching business has been built on organic traffic, and I don't believe in at the start of your business to be able to generate leads in any other way. But what most people don't realize is actually the structure and the formula that goes on behind it. So I'm here to be able to go through that with you today. So whether you're with me on YouTube, LinkedIn, here with me on Zoom, wherever you are, if you have any questions as I'm going along, please put them into the chat, into the comments. I will get to those that I can as I'm going through this. And any of them that I don't get to, I promise I will come back and answer you personally about it. So I'm going to start off by sharing my screen so that we can get into this. Typical technology doesn't work for me the first time around. Try it again. There we go. Okay, so like I said, you're very welcome to the Land Your Leads and Masterclass. I'm thrilled that you are joining me today and that we're going to go through all this. And while this is specifically geared towards coaches, I do want you to know that this works for any service-based industry, right? So if you're not a coach, if you're a holistic therapist, if you do energy healing, hypnotherapy, if you're a consultant, anything that's to do with services and online, this works beautifully for you. So some of you will be brand new to me and you won't know me at all. So for those of you that don't know me, I'm Joanna Halloran and I'm a business mentor and sales expert specifically for female coaches who want to find and sign their first 3 to 5 clients. And this is something that's really, really close to my heart. And I'll share with you why. When I first started my business, I literally thought it would be so easy to be able to sign clients. I'd worked in HR for 17 years and networking was part of that, but the industries that I've been in human resources required a lot of networking and being out and about in communities. So I genuinely thought that once I put my business out there, people would come flocking to me, and I was confident enough in my abilities. But what I didn't realize was the big difference between being in employment and actually starting up your business as an entrepreneur. And I swore that I would make it my life's mission to have no other female coach feel the way that I did when they were starting out. We are amazing at what we do, right? We have incredible skills. What it is that you're really good at. The results that your clients can get from working with you. But what we don't know is what we don't know, which is normally the business piece. And a lot of what you see online, some of it is accurate, but when it's focused on only do it this way, and this is the way that works, I'm here to tell you that's not true, right? There's multiple strategies that get to cross over in order for something to work. So when I say I've made it my life's mission, I do not want to see any more broke coaches. It drives me bananas. I think it's awful that anybody is in a situation where, they've either left their corporate job or they're setting up their business with the intention of leaving their corporate job and they don't have the ability to be able to make money. I think that is a horrendous situation to be in. And I've genuinely made it my life's mission to make sure that no other female coach is in that position. So a little bit about me aside from business. I'm a mum to Leah. So Leah she's not even a child anymore. She's a full-grown adult who has started her family. And I have the most gorgeous grandson, Oliver. Oh my God, he's just so cute. It's like looking at Leah when she was a baby. Super, super, super cute. And I love that I get to be able to spend time with them. It's one of the massive benefits of being an entrepreneur, that I get to spend that time with my family, because I love that. And yeah, look, when I started my business, I never set out to be an entrepreneur until I decided I want to be one. I know a lot of people, when they set up their businesses, had that burning desire to work for themselves. I didn't. And it wasn't something I became passionate about until I started to do it myself, which I know sounds really strange, but it's the truth. But I think that that's the beauty in this too, is that because it's been organic and because, I figured out the trials and tribulations along the way, it helped to be able to serve my clients. So my first 6 months was a disaster. I had one client, and I know so many of my clients have come to me with the same thing, but like literally it was a disaster to sign one client and earn €2,000. Like, who can live off that? Right. Thankfully, I was in a corporate job, but it was during COVID, and my hours had got reduced to virtually nothing. So I really couldn't live off that. But 2 months after that, I started earning my first 10K plus months, and it started to grow from there, which was awesome. And what I'm so proud of as well is that my clients are experiencing the same results too. Like, I have 100% success rate with my clients, which I don't know anyone else that can stand over that and say that. It's amazing to be able to see what they're generating between leads, clients, like collaborations, from like being invited as guest experts to, doing retreats, to selling out their programs. It is absolutely amazing. And I'm so, so, so proud of them, because it's literally, I'm fulfilling my life's mission. And for any of you that are on here as coaches, that, just to know that it's possible for you too. But I'd love to know in the chat what your business is. Are you a coach? Are you like a holistic therapist? And even if you are, what type of coach or therapist are you? Just so I can get to know you and I can tailor this for you too. So if you want to put it into the chat, that would be amazing. So I just want to share with you some of what's possible, just so you know that it's not just that it works for me, but I want to show you that it works for other people. So the first person here, she's incredible. So she's an empowerment coach and a podcaster. So when we first started working together, she had no business. So she was brand new, and many of my clients are brand new. So they either have a business idea, or, they've kind of put in some things to be able to build, like to start off a business, but haven't really taken it off the ground. But she had nothing, absolutely nothing. And she generated 110 new leads in the first 2 months of us working together, which was amazing. So to give you like the cascade effect of what that looked like. So she generated 110 new leads in the first 2 months. She then went on to create her first 12-week program, and she signed 4 clients up on her very first launch, which is incredible, right, for when you're first starting out. She then went on to start her podcast, and she's been booked for numerous speaking gigs, and she has awards as well for her speaking, which is awesome. The second person then is a success and mindset coach. So we literally only started working together this March. So we're just at the beginning of May, and this is what she's already created. So before working together, she had a total of 2 clients in 8 months. So very similar to myself, but she'd no clear niche. So we worked together and worked on what I'm going to share with you today. And she booked six sales calls from her first masterclass. She signed 2 clients in 1 day. She also increased her prices, and she made her investment with me back in less than 30 days. And she increased her coaching leads by 300% in the 2 months. Imagine if you could increase your leads by 200%, and not just any leads, but leads that are ideal clients. Like, think of the difference that would make for your business. Okay, so we have a small business coach, life and executive coach, coach for parents of teenagers and preteens, and transformational coach. Awesome. So we got lots of coaches. I love it. Love it to be surrounded by coaches. So this is some of what's possible. Here's some more. So transformation coach. So she wants to get her coaching business off the ground. So she'd been in business for a while, but hadn't really done too much with it. And she signed her first 3 clients in the first 30 days. And 1 client was signed within 48 hours of us working together, which is amazing. She also increased her prices. Now, what I want to preface this with saying is, when I say they're increased their prices, what I find a lot of people do when they come to me is that their prices are quite low, which means that the quality of clients that are coming in are quite low. So we increased the prices to match what the industry average is, so that they were generating quality clients. But what we also did was reframed her messaging and boosted her credibility. That was a massive thing that was missing for her, was her credibility and her stand and her authority. And then she brought in 200 new leads in the first 3 months. So again, this is what's possible. And it's getting these foundations put in at the front end supports you out the back end. And where a lot of coaches go wrong is they focus on the back end and forget about the front end, because it's not the sexy stuff. It's just, it's the slog. It's the slog that we want to try and avoid, because everywhere online you hear it's easy, do this, it's simple. But the truth is, there's certain things that you need to put in the front end so that you can reap the benefits out the back end. So the fourth success story is also an empowerment coach. So she was a brand new coach. super passionate about what she was doing. And I mean, super passionate. Her vision was amazing. So she was, she is an empowerment coach for retired women who are have just come out of a divorce, which is awesome. So she's empowering them to be able to reclaim their self-worth within their lives. She brought in 600 new leads. She signed 6 clients in 6 weeks from her first masterclass and sold out her retreat. Like, that's epic. So, if anyone is ever thinking, at my age, I can't do this, or, is it too late for me? This lady is 70 years old. She's 70, and this is what she created because her vision was just so strong. Like, she knew, and she was so passionate about what she wanted to create. So I'd love as well, I know, and thank you everybody for sharing your business, but I'd love to know as well, like, what is that big dream that you have? Like, what is that? I have to have it. Like, this is like so important for me. When I came on, you would have seen the picture that's behind me, which is my vision, my overall vision. And it is around single moms, that they get to experience freedom, whatever that looks like for them, so that they can change the legacy of their families. So that's super important for me. And it's so important for me, I got to paint it. So it's always good to speak out your vision so that the passion can come through. So share it in the chat there so you get to declare it and say it out loud, and we could all celebrate it with you. Okay, so let's get into the details now. So when it comes to landing high quality coaching leads, I would love for you to share in the chat or the comments, wherever you're watching this, what do you believe is necessary to land high quality and high volume coaching leads? So like, what is something that comes to your mind when you think of that? I'm going to give you a couple of minutes there just to be able to answer it while I take a sip of tea from my Winnie the Pooh mug. For those of you that know me will know me that I love my Winnie the Pooh and I love tea. They come everywhere with me, and I'm not afraid to say it. But yeah, what do you believe is necessary to land high quality and high volume coaching leads? So I know when I was thinking about this, so like I said at the start, I thought it would be super easy. Like, I really thought it would be super easy. And as time went on, I did start to wonder whether or not it was possible to create like high quality leads without making a significant financial investment into ads, or whether or not I needed to invest in like a marketing expert who would go out and do business, or even a business development person that would go out and generate leads for me. And it really did become a concern for me that, I was like, everything that I'm seeing online about, how it's easy and how if you just show up on social media, the masses will come, and it wasn't happening for me. So, my mind did kind of go into, well, are people lying? Like, are they actually that dishonest? Or am I being silly about this? And do I actually need like thousands to be able to invest to generate high quality coaching leads? Because at the time when I started, so my business is slightly different now, and this is good for you to know too, because your business will change as you're going. But when I started, my focus was specifically on mums in the corporate world. So, like any networking events that were there didn't kind of cater towards that. They were either like stay-at-home mums or they were parenting groups, but they didn't focus on where I was. So the opportunity to network was quite low, and I wasn't sure where to go with it. So I was trying to figure out how I was going to do it myself. And guys, I'm going to encourage you to put it into the chat too, so that you can get the most from this. But they were what I thought was necessary to land the high quality and high volume coaching leads. And here's some of the myths, right, that I hear and I've heard from my own clients is like, you need a huge social media following. You need to have been in business for years. You have to be hustling constantly. This one is a huge one, because I see entrepreneurs getting burnt out quite a lot, that you have to be visible everywhere, and that you need lots of options or funnels to attract new leads, and you need to run ads. So that second last one there, you need lots of options and funnels to attract new leads. Like, I see this an awful lot online where people are like, oh, you need to have multiple packages, you need to have, multiple lead magnets to be able to attract in new leads. Realistically, you need a team of people to be able to do that. And that isn't necessary to be able to build up quality leads. Like, depending on what way your business is set up right now, like, let me know in the chat if you're one-to-one or if you're a group, like which is it that you operate on? Because the majority of people when they're starting out are like one-to-one. So like how many leads can you actually cope with in order to be able to generate like one-to-ones? Like you only have X amount of one-to-one spots. If you're doing a coaching, like a group coaching program, obviously you want to have more leads coming in because you're going to want to be able to keep it full and keep the energy and the flow of that going. But do you need to have lots of options of funnels to attract new leads? No. Okay, so Anne, so you're one-to-one at present and hoping to develop it from there. Awesome. Adele, both one-to-one and small group of membership. Awesome. Yeah. Sharon, starting out as one-to-one and wanting to scale to group membership mastermind. Awesome. So you can see that you like it's the same, right? People start out with one-to-one and then they pivot to the next level, which is amazing because that gives you an awesome foundation. So how many leads do you actually need to be able to fill out your one-to-one, and then how many leads do you actually need to scale to group? Mary Kay, one-to-one, moving to the group in the fall. Yay, congratulations. Okay, so most coaches or most coaching businesses fail because of no new leads. Because they don't know where to get them. And they keep trying to scramble through what they have, or they just focus on social media. And I'm a massive fan of social media. I love it. Instagram and LinkedIn are my favorite places in the entire world to hang out. But just because you've got people on there doesn't actually mean that they're new leads. So our followers are not always leads, which people tend to think that they are. And that's where you can struggle to pull them out the back end. So I just want to quickly go through the different types of leads that exist, right? So there's cold leads, there's warm leads, and there's hot leads. So the ones that you want to be targeting are the hot leads, but there's a process you have to go through in order for them to become hot leads. So a cold lead is somebody that doesn't have a clue who you are. They might maybe have seen, I'll give you just a basic example. They might maybe have seen a reel that you did on Instagram and clicked like, or they saw a reel on Instagram and clicked follow only because you told them to, not because they're necessarily interested in what you do. And that might be the same, on any of your social media platforms, is that if somebody just likes something or maybe follows you based on one thing and then doesn't interact in any other way, then it's cold. You're not in relationship with them. They don't know you. They probably don't care to get to know you right now. And it is what it is, right? It's part of growing a business. The next one then is the warm leads. So warm leads are the ones that we really want to interact with because they're the ones that are going to move from just being a lead into being a client. So the hot leads are the ones that are like they're sitting there at the top ready to go, just like a little blow on a leaf will bring them over to you. But warm leads is where you're interacting with people and they become warm when they share information with you. So that can be one of two ways. That can either be in a conversation that you're having with them, like say, for example, in DMs, where you're literally interacting with them, or it can be somebody that has moved onto your email list. So either way, they're in relationship with you, they are connecting with you, you're having conversations with them in some way, shape, or form, and they're interested in what you have to say, and they're staying in the community with you. So they're a warm lead. They're the ones that are when you will have the ability to move to a hot lead to then become a client. So a hot lead is somebody that is actively looking for a solution to whatever the problem is that they're experiencing. So like if, for example, you are Mary Kay said she is a parenting coach. So for example, teens, Mary Kay, I don't know if this is exactly what you do, but so just bear with me when I'm saying this. But when it comes to parenting, like teenagers, for example, is it to do with, I don't know, let's say, I'm saying like what did Leah go through? So like she would have had, like the answering back and the mood swings and she wasn't sure of who she was or what she wanted to do. So like if I'm a parent looking for a solution to that, I'll be looking for how to be able to communicate with my child or with my teenager so that we can have like proactive conversations that don't lead to arguments. So if I'm actively looking for that and I come across you and I start consuming what you're doing, opt into whatever your freebie is, and like I'm consuming your emails, they're hot leads. So this is the flow of where you want to get to. But what the problem is most people go to their cold leads and try to get them to convert and then get frustrated when it's not working. So that is a really common thing to see. So it's really good to know what the flow looks like and who fits in where, because not all of your audience is going to fit in to hot leads. They will move through it over time. So this is your framework for landing your lead. So I call it the 3C cycle. So this will always repeat, which is why it's a circle. Consistently repeat. This is the way that you land your leads. It starts off with your client, then it's about your credibility, and then it's with collaboration. So I'm going to break this down for you so that you can see it. But if you want to take a screenshot of this too. So the 3C cycle starts with client, moves to credibility, and then collaboration. And it stays on a continual cycle. This is the cycle that you get to maintain always in order for you to be able to land your leads. So when we talk about clients, your ability to be able to connect with your ideal client, it's a non-negotiable. And the biggest mistake, like the biggest mistake I see coaches making, is that they're not actually able to connect with their ideal client. So like I said, they're trying to speak to the cold leads rather than trying to speak to the warm leads, it's the hot leads. And the reason that they're not able to connect with their ideal client is, number one, they've got no clear niche. They've got no clear understanding of what their client wants versus what they need. So when I say that, a marketing piece that's really important for coaches to know is your marketing tools. So any of your content, any of your content or your copy has got to speak directly into what people want, not what you know they need. Your service will always provide what they need. But the problem is any client that's coming to us doesn't actually know what they need, because that's what they're coming to us for, right? So they want to know that we are the ones that have the solution for them. But we've got to speak to them based on what they want, not what they need. Our service will give them what they need. So a lot of the times I see that coaches don't actually know what their client wants. And they decide that they're going to speak to what they need. So their content will be focused on what they need. Their copy, so their email, will be focused on what they need. And then there's frustration because there's no sales out the back end. And then all of a sudden, like you see that, engagement rates start dropping and it just becomes this vicious cycle. And it does come down to these three things: no clear niche, no clear understanding of clients' wants, only speaking to their needs because it's not relatable. So if this is you, a great way to get around this is through market research. Market research is key to figuring out what your ideal client actually wants, not what they need. So like the best thing I always say is figure out what it is that they're Googling. What are they Googling? And then that will support you in telling you what they want. So this is like, do you like my drawing, by the way? Isn't it beautiful? So this is the most visual way I could think of to give you and how you connect with your ideal client. So this is broken down in the way that leads are. So down the bottom here, like where the people are just walking along with their hands stretched out, they're your cold leads. They're going about their daily business. They probably don't even know that you exist. They may have stopped on something either because somebody shared it with them, or you did something funny, or they liked a quote or something that you were doing. But either way, they're still going on about their business, right? They're not really bothered. Then you've got the people that are like, they're like, okay, I need to get off the walkway and start figuring out what it is that I want, and I'm starting to be curious. So this is this person down here. Oh, sorry. This is this person down here. So they're starting to be warm, right? So they're starting to be curious. They are connecting more. Then maybe they've signed up for, a freebie or a masterclass or something that you've done. So they're starting to be curious. They're still not there yet, right? They're not at the point where they're like, yes, I absolutely need this person in my life. This person up here is frustrated and they're like, tell me the solution. Tell me the solution. I just want to know what to do. Please tell me the solution. And you are here to be able to provide the bridge to get them from where they are to where they want to be. And your bridge is obviously fulfilling their needs. But where people speak to the content is down here. They speak to the content down, or they pitch their content down at the bottom to the people that actually are just going about their daily business. And the reason that happens and that it's pitched down here to the people that are not really interested, or not ready, is because your content, your copy, your credibility, your authority is too general. It's not speaking to your clients in terms of what they want. So therefore you're not connecting with them. So if for example, right now you have, I don't know, a couple of hundred people on social media, but you've had 0 people connect with you to come work with you, so an actual lead that wants to come work with you, this may be why. So it may be down to your niche not being clear, you not understanding what your client wants, and then not pitching your content and your copy to what they want. So it's really crucial. So this is like the best drawing that I could give you around it, is that you are the person at the top of the mountain that has the solution, right? You have the full on solution for them. But instead of speaking to the person that's ready to jump, like they're ready for this, they're like, just tell me what to do. You're down here in the weeds with the people that have no idea that they even want you in the first place. So it's a great visual to be able to think of when you're creating any sort of content, to be able to connect with your client, is which one of these three are you actually speaking to? You want to be in between these two, speaking to them. That's where you want to be. Okay, so just as a quick reminder, for a success and mindset coach, which was the success story number 2, this is exactly what we did with her. This is where I went with her, was reframing this, like completely reframing this with her, getting her clear on her niche, getting her clear on her messaging. And she increased her coaching leads by 300% and in a really short period of time. So it's really important that this stuff lands with you so that you know what gets to be tweaked in your business. So the next C on this is credibility. So trust is obviously one of the hardest things to be able to build quickly in your online business. So we know that it takes anywhere, depending on the personality style, between 7 and 21 actual engagements with you before they trust you and they're willing to buy from you. So if you think about what a lead is, like if you have somebody that's a cold lead and you want to get them to be a hot lead, but then a lot of touch points that's required with them. And it's not even your touch points, it's theirs with you, which is not always understood. So it's not like you get put out, I don't know, say for example, 21 videos and somebody's now going to buy from you. You may put out 21 videos, but they may only see 2. So trust is necessary so that you can build up your credibility. And again, the biggest mistake that I see coaches making is there's a lack of consistency and authority, particularly about the results that your program creates. And there seems to be a big fear around this. So while you can't guarantee results, right, you cannot guarantee results because it's down to how the person applies the information that you give them. You have got to be able to stand over your results and stand over what you know is possible for clients to create. If I didn't stand over what I did, there's no way there'd be 100% success rate. Like that just wouldn't be a thing, right? But because I know full well that this is what works for people, there is 100% success rate. And I would boldly say that I have that out everywhere. You've got to be able to do it the same so that you can build up that credibility. And you've got to be consistent about it too. So in order to be seen as the expert, which is what gives you credibility, you need to have a clear message, a clear framework, a clear result. And it's really important that you're yourself, right? In order for people to be able to relate to you. That is why you will always see me with a cup of tea and anything to do with Winnie the Pooh, because that's who I am, right? This is stuff that I love. But I will also share the not so good side of entrepreneurship too. Like I've shared like times when it's been absolutely awful for me. I share, at times where I've been up late, I've shared where, masterclasses have gone like absolutely awry. I've shared where technology has fallen apart. I've shared when I am recording interviews at the moment and I'm going between my house and my partner's house, but I don't have my office in my partner's house. So we have like a makeshift, like when I say makeshift, you'll see the pictures, but we've got a makeshift section for me so that I can be able to do my work. But when I'm recording stuff, literally there's 2 tables on top of each other with his drone boxes on top of them that I sit my laptop on when I'm recording. And that's real life. Like that is real life for entrepreneurship. There is not one person out there that has has a perfect studio set up all the time. But when you show that side of you, it gives that credibility too, because it's real life. So like something that's really important for you to know is if you are not energetically aligned with how you're showing up and what you're doing, it's going to come across on screen and people are going to notice this, which is going to impact the credibility. So how do you position yourself as the expert? Again, this is it. Feel free to take a screenshot of this. So this is what I call the circle of credibility. And all of this is important for you to be able to generate high quality, high volume leads. You've got to be seen as the expert. And this is how you do it. So the first thing being, think back to what I said earlier on. What is that one big promise that you have for people? What are the results that you stand over? Like, what are the results? Like I 100% stand over that my clients will generate 3 to 5 clients when we're working together. I stand over that. Absolutely stand over that. Then you go into the social proof where you show that what you've said is possible. So you pull out previous client results and you get them, like you can either get them to share or you can share, but it's a social proof. Then you get to deliver on that by sharing it out, right? And consistently sharing it out, which helps build the trust, which then brings leads into you for clients. So this is the circle of credibility. But where most people fall down is they won't do the big promise and they won't do the social proof. So the first two you fall down on because it feels like it can feel uncomfortable and it can feel scary because all that might be going through your mind is, well, what happens if I have that one person? Like say for example, with me, like with 100% success rate, what happens if I have that one person that doesn't generate results? Okay. Then it might be, well, what happens if like I put out, the social proof, like X, Y, and Z person got X, Y, and Z, but then it doesn't happen for the next person. So we make our story the problem. So like as in the excuses that we feel, the insecurities that we feel, and then we stop ourselves and we sabotage ourselves from actually being the expert that we know we are. Like there's nobody else that can do what you do. There will be businesses similar, but how you go about it, how you speak about it, your passion about it, like your thoughts about it, there's nobody else that is like you. So show that out there in the world so that people can see it. Sharon, yeah, I totally accept that my current office is actually my bathroom with enough counter space between 2 sinks to hold my laptop. Yes, Sharon, I love that. I don't know if any of you are on Instagram, but there is a lady on there, Virginia Kerr. She is known as like the video queen, and she started doing all of her videos in her laundry room. She then turned she turned the videos around so that people could see where she was recording them from. And that is why people fell in love with her. Because she proved what was possible with what she had. So Sharon, I love that. You get to own that. That is what it is. And people get to see that. Like never be afraid of that. Because I promise you, your credibility matters. And credibility isn't about perfection. Credibility is about being relatable and to show that like this is possible. So always go with that and own it. Like my dog is sitting here running around at the minute. And if any of you have been on anything I've done before, there's a possibility he will start screaming. Like he's a Cocker Spaniel and he screams. There's a big possibility that that's going to happen. But I include that in what I do because it's part of my life, right? Like if I was to try and hide that, I would be doing that to try and be perfect. And that doesn't resonate with anyone because anyone who has a Cocker Spaniel knows this, right? Okay, so again, just a reminder, just to show you that that this works, is that a transformation coach. So she wants to get her coaching business off the ground. And like I said, she signed 3 clients in the first 30 days, one of which was in 48 hours. She increased her prices. And a lot of what we did with her was reframe her messaging and boosted her credibility. So it's not that she wasn't credible, she is amazing, but her credibility was missing out there in the world because she wasn't being direct with not only the results that clients can get working with her, but also what she stands for. So when we changed that, she brought in 200 new leads in the first 3 months. Like this is awesome. Sharon, for sure, when I have show physical item, I have to turn off my background. It's a great, yeah, exactly, Sharon. It is a great, authentic and vulnerable moment. And we get to lean into that. We've been taught for too long that things need to be perfect. And like I was guilty of this too at the start. I was mortified if anything went wrong. And like particularly when it comes to the champagne lifestyle, that's not me. I don't think that will ever be me. Now that's not to say that I don't like luxury things, but I'm more tracksuit bottoms, Wellington boots, and out in the garden, like or running around the beach with the dog or whatever. Like that's more my thing than sitting on a yacht. So you get to show the real side of you too. Okay, so here's a fun fact. So when we think of going into the third C, which is collaborations, Forbes, Thinkific, LinkedIn, Coachly magazine, Mindvalley, all listed collaborations as a highly effective way to generate leads. And yet I still see so many people not using collaborations to be able to generate leads. And this is what we're going to break this cycle with today. Collaborations are amazing for building bonds and visibility. Like, I mean, incredible. But they should never be focused on what you can get from them, which is where I see a lot of people going wrong. Because you've got to be energetically aligned with both the person that you're collaborating with and the impact that you can bring to their audience and that they can bring to yours. The aim of collaboration is obviously cross-pollination of your audiences, and it can be done even if you have like the teeniest, tiniest audience on social media. In fact, I've had clients that have had 0 following on social media and have had no email list that have boosted their business from collaborations. But note that if energetically you are not aligned with who you are collaborating with, you will 100% repel your clients, because energy is everything, absolutely everything. So these are the different types of collaborations that can be used. And what I teach my clients is more than one of these, because I've learned that doing a collaboration one way and one way only doesn't generate significant results, and you will end up in like creating a significant amount of events that a lot of work goes into and not be able to generate as much results out the back end. So you do want to cross these over. But different types of collaborations, and I love all of these, are summits, live series, love live series, podcasts, retreats. Retreats are awesome for collaboration. Service bundles, these are coming up more and more and more in the world. So they're basically contribution bundles where, like, I don't know, have you ever seen it where you, like, there might be, say, 20 different experts have come together with like low ticket items, so maybe $7 items or maybe more, and you might pay like 50 quid and you get like 20 of these. They're called service bundles, but they're amazing to be able to collaborate on and to generate leads. Another amazing one is to be a guest expert, either on somebody else's program or they come onto yours, or that you can do guest blogging. It is a brilliant way to generate leads because it's also building your authority. The beautiful thing about collaborations is, as well as building the bonds, your authority increases massively across the audiences, both in yours and in somebody else's. Why? Because there's consistency. There's ongoing consistency with what you're doing. So if this is not something you have in your business, you get to implement this now, like as a non-negotiable. So, oh, gone backwards. We have gone all the way backwards. Yeah. So collaboration. So where they go wrong is when there's no market research done. There's no proof of concept. This is something that drives me bananas, is when, and I see it all the time. So this even happens with programs. It happens with like launching of offers, where people will put something out, but they haven't tested it first to see whether or not their audience even wants it, or whether or not it's going to land. And so much time and effort and energy and even money can be wasted on creating things that people don't want. So market research is a non-negotiable in order for you to be able to generate proof of concept so that you can actually have results with this. Other places that collaborations go wrong is where you only do one type of collaboration, like I said already, because it can create a lot of there's a lot of nuances and pieces that get to go into collaborations so that you can generate the results. And if you're only doing one of them, it's a lot of time and effort and energy to just get one result. And another thing that goes wrong is doing it only to get from the collaboration. So I always say getting energy is the worst energy you can be in. So if you do anything in order to get something, you will get absolutely nothing from it, nothing, because all you're doing is taking. You're not operating from a place of generosity. And that is crucial for everything in business, is your attitude towards it. And not being selfless, but coming from like a place of contribution and giving and generosity. So it's really important that you're not only doing it just to get, that if you give, that you're open to receiving that too. Another thing that goes wrong is when people don't use this as a networking opportunity. So not just for yourself, but for anybody else that you're collaborating with. Like, one of the things I'm known for is being a connector, so connecting people. Because I will know in my mind, if I have an event coming up later on this month, and I already know in my mind that there's people on there that will be amazing as a support or a network or a collaboration for each other. you can be full sure I did that introduction. I'm not waiting on them to ask me to do it. I'm being proactive in doing it, which then supports me being in the authority and also me being an expert in it. And I'm being generous, right? I'm being loving and kind and caring. So there are amazing networking opportunities when you focus out, which means that you're able to receive. When there's no pre-planning, so they're just done like by the seat of your pants, and there's no clear intention. So that's when they become a disaster, like an absolute disaster. So if you've ever collaborated and you have got zero results from them, it will be because of one of these things. Also, not having the back end set up in place so that you can be in relationship with your new leads. So like I've seen it too, where, people might end up with like 100 people on their email list and then they leave them sitting there and do nothing with them. And then when they do decide that they're ready to make an offer, nothing happens because the people are like, well, they're probably actually even goes into their spam, but they're not going to know who you are because you haven't built up the relationship with them. So when you have the automation set up in the back end, it makes your life so much easier. So this is what I teach my clients. So this is called a focused funnel, and this is what it looks like. And it's really important that you create a funnel. So don't even worry about like ClickFunnels. I'm not talking about that, but it's the flow in which people come to you on. Social media is where the majority of people hang out, okay? And it's like a shop window. So you want to make sure that you're advertising yourself on there and showing what it is that you're able to do, showing what's possible, showing the results that can be created, showing that you're the expert in this and that you know what you're talking about. And from there, you can create collaborations. So I've already showed you that there's multiple ways to create collaborations, but you want to be funneling people in. So from social media into collaboration. So that can be a collaboration on social media. It can be a collaboration off social media. It can be both and, right? There's no right or wrong with this. But this is the flow that you're bringing them in. So you're warming people up. You're letting them get to know you through social media, and then you're coming into collaborations. So you will be pulling in some of your audience that exist on your social media that are like, oh, I want to get to know this person more. And you're going to be pulling in people from other people's audiences from your collaboration. From there, you bring them into your own event. So your event. So that could be a masterclass, it could be a challenge, it actually, it mightn't even be an event, it could be just a book a call, but you'll bring them into something with you. And then from there, you go into sales. But this is what the flow and the funnel looks like. It looks like this. So you're constantly bringing it so that it gets smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. And I will share with you why in a minute, statistically wise, why this looks this way. So this is why if you don't have a big following on social media, it doesn't matter, because it's the quality of the leads that you bring in that matter, not the quantity. Like I remember when I first started making my 10K months, I will still remember this. Let me share the story actually the other day. My first masterclass that I did, not my first masterclass ever, but when the month that I made the 10K month, I did back-to-back masterclasses. And the very first one that I did, 4 people were on live and only 1 person bought. So I went into a panic going, well, this conversion rate is like, okay, it's 25%, but like, it's not really going to work for me going forward if I'm only getting 1 at a time. So I did a masterclass the next week and there was 0 people on it, 0. And I was like, crap. Because at this stage, I think I had like don't even think I had 300 people on my social media. And I think I had 18. No, I know I had 89 on my email list. So that's how low it was. And my third one person came to, but that 1 person bought. And I started going, okay, hang on, I think I'm onto something here. And then my next masterclass, 3 people came and 2 people bought. So by that stage, I had figured out the formula of what works. So it shows that never worry about the number, worry about the quality. So what I had tweaked from the first one to the last one was the quality of people that were being brought in, because all of this mattered. So think your social media and what I shared with you about how to connect with your clients, that is what generates the quality of leads that you bring in. So just a reminder, when it comes to landing your leads, this is your framework. So client, credibility, collaboration. Put into the chat if you have any questions on this so far, if there's anything that you're curious about, that you want to know more of, that doesn't make any sense, let me know so that I can support you. So how do you actually land your leads through a focused funnel? Literally, how do you land them? Because all of this is great in theory and it's great to have the diagrams and it's it's great to hear it, but how does it actually work, right? That's what so many of us want to know as well. How does it work? What is it that I need to do? So the reason why using this focused funnel, and I say it focused because it's on a particular topic, focused on a specific result that your clients are going to get. So it's focused, not general, focused. Being focused matters. So that's why it's called the focus funnel. So it establishes your authority immediately, like immediately establishes your authority, because there's consistency with what you're focusing on. Your expertise has been established at each layer, at each level. So think of it like, I don't know if any of you are parents, like the rainbow cakes, right? So each layer is just solidifying your authority. Like, so every layer is just solidifying your authority and your expertise. There's consistency in your messaging and your direction. So it's so consistent, it doesn't change. You get high visibility with your ideal client in very quick succession, like really quick succession by doing this, because you will not be on all the time, but it has the appearance of being on all the time. So I remember one of my clients there in January, she turned when she signed with me, she said, Joanne, you're everywhere. She said, I can't get away from you. She's like, I need you in my life, because you're just there all the time. And every time I hear you, you're speaking sense. But I was not actually there all the time. It was the way that this was set up that it looked like I was there all the time. But it was amazing because she heard what she needed to hear. My trust was built up with her her trust with me, was built up with her really quickly, because it was over a short period of time where I was consistently in front of her, speaking to her with where she needed to be. So she was an easy lead. She was an easy yes, which is exactly what you want, right? So you want that high visibility with your ideal client in quick succession. By doing it this way too, it's only one lead magnet focus, always one lead magnet. How much easier would your life be with one lead magnet, and one lead magnet that actually converts? So not just that it's a nice to have, but it actually converts. Super helpful, right? And then automations out the back end to generate sales. So remember my clients that I shared with you at the start, where they were generating clients quickly? This was part of what changed them. So 2 clients within one day generated sales from creating the automations at the back end. They don't need to be like big fancy ones, but they do need to be in place and working. But when you've got a focus funnel, everything is going through the same flow. So you're able to read the data from it too, which is awesome, because it gives you actual information that you can use. So here's a fun fact. A recent study that was done showed that entrepreneurs who collaborated saw a 3.9% growth in revenue monthly compared to entrepreneurs that do not. So put into the chat there now, do you use collaborations in your business to generate leads? Just put yes or no. And there's no right or wrong in this. It's just pure curiosity. I want to know. Yes or no, do you use collaborations in your business to generate leads? So, and no. Danica, yes. Okay. Edel, occasionally. Mary Kay, yes. Okay, awesome. So we've got a nice mix. So this is amazing stats to know, is that 3.95% growth in revenue monthly compared with those that do not. So if you look at where your revenue is at now, and you could multiply it by 3.95% each month, what would that look like at year end for you? You don't need to put it into the chat, you can just think about it. But what difference would that make to your business? Like how much more growth would you have? How much more money would you have coming in? How amazing would it feel? Like when you look at it like that, it's pretty awesome, because remember, 3.9% is on top of what you already have. So obviously, again, this isn't guaranteed, but it's just the study showed this. And I've seen this too with my clients, and I've shared the stuff with you too for my clients. It's like what's possible for them by using this exact method. But as we're talking about real life, there's obviously common fears that happen when it comes to collaborations. And maybe this is you, and know that this was me too. So you might be fearful that people are going to say no to you if you ask them to collaborate. Or you might be thinking that, you're not well known yet, or that you don't have anything to offer in a collaboration, or that you don't feel like you have the authority to claim to be an expert. This is a big one for people. Maybe you haven't been visible online before, or it just feels super scary because you don't know how to approach someone. I still remember the first time that I ever did. My first collaboration was Facebook Live, And I did it with somebody that I was quite friendly with. Like, she is a coach too, and I was quite friendly with. And I kid you not, I was petrified. Like, the sweat was coming out from under my armpits. I was like horrified at it. And I was doing it just to do it. I hadn't set my intention. I wasn't clear on the results that I wanted, but I loved what this lady talked about. But nothing technology wise would work. Why? Because my energy was off. But our technology didn't work. And I got so caught up and so scared about it that when we did it just to do it, we had no call to action at the end. So that was my very first one. Those lives did start to get a bit better, and there was call to actions on them, but I still wasn't generating leads. So it was frustrating. I was like, well, what's the point in constantly putting it out there if I'm not generating leads? So it's knowing that you've got to put all of this together and to connect with people that actually have your ideal client or can support your ideal client is the way to go about collaborations. But know that you can feel scared about them. Like, they can feel uncomfortable. But here's what's possible when your leads are your actual ideal clients. So like I said, you don't need a huge audience to be able to make great sales, and sales come from leads. So just to give you a rough estimate here, like, you can quickly make 100K just by having 20 people at 5,000. Now, here's the stats on this. And this is why the quality of leads that you bring in are super important. 5% of your email list are always ready to buy from you. So if, for example, you have a 500 email list, that's 25 people. Now, if they're all your ideal clients, and if you're consistently building up the know, like, a trust factor with them, that's going to increase, right? This is why social media is not always the best way to go, but you use it at the first part of your funnel, is because 1 to 3% of your social media list, those that are engaged, are always ready to buy from you. So, like, if I look at, like, my social media stats, for example, like if I take Instagram, for example, I have 1,500 people on Instagram, but on average at any one time, there's only about 200 of them that are actually engaged. So that's a relatively low amount of people that there's a possibility to come across. LinkedIn is different. So I have 3,000 people on LinkedIn, and roughly about 50% of them are engaged at any one time. So there's a higher percentage to be able to bring across. But it's important to know these stats so that you know, if you're not focusing on speaking to your ideal clients, establishing your authority, being in connection with people, your engagement rate is going to be low, which means that you're going to struggle to bring more leads across, which is why collaborations are amazing, because they will boost all of this for you. They boost your credibility, they boost your authority, they boost your visibility. And the fastest way to build your audience of ideal clients is through collaboration. The fastest way to increase your visibility and engagement is through collaborations. So it's a no-brainer to do these. So here's more success stories just for you to be able to see. So a holistic therapist, she's a mum of 3, and she used this 3 C's. So her collaborations were Instagram lives to a lead magnet. That was the flow that we used with her. And she increased her hot leads by 430%, which was awesome. And she signed 10 clients off the back end of her first collaboration. So just to explain to you exactly what we did with her, she did a week of back-to-back Instagram lives with people that also served her ideal clients. The purpose of the collaboration was obviously to generate leads, but it was also to raise awareness around. So when I say she's a holistic therapist, she also she specifically supports mums that have young children whose sleep is not great. So it's very neat. So the collaborations were specifically around that. So specifically around supporting mums with kiddies that don't sleep. And the lead magnet was supportive of that, was very specifically supportive of that. So when she was in front of her audience and she was in front of the person that she was collaborating with, the offer was for that lead magnet. That was the only link that she had in her bio, the only link. And she shared it with the person that she was collaborating with to send out to their audience. So she increased her hot leads by 430% and signed 10 clients off the back end of her first collaboration. So this is where the strategy matters, but also your implementation of the strategy. Like, if you're going to have your fears get in the way of this, it won't work, which is why you've got to be energetically aligned with this and be super passionate about it, like super passionate about it. The next one then is an empowerment coach. So she's a mum of 2. She's actually a brand new coach, and she only started with me earlier this year. She generated 900 ideal client leads within 3 months. and hers was done slightly differently. She did a collaborated series through LinkedIn. So that was how she approached this, because LinkedIn is a different platform. It's a different beast. I love LinkedIn. I love it. If your ideal client is on there, it's golden for leads, and high quality leads too. So she's an empowerment coach specifically for women in the corporate world. So LinkedIn was like such an obvious place for her to go. So she generated 900 leads within 3 months from being on there, all through collaborations, because it's boosting her credibility, it's boosting her visibility, and it's getting her message consistent. So again, just to remind you, the land your leads framework, it's the 3 cycle. So clients, so you've got to know who your client is. You've got to know what it is that they want. Then you get to boost your credibility by being super clear on the results, sharing the results, being really bold about your messaging, and getting high visibility, which moves into number 3, through collaborations. They've got to go hand in hand. So you go through all of these. Now, you might be saying to yourself, well, if I already know who my ideal client is, why is this circle then repeating itself to go back to my ideal client? Because the marketplace is constantly changing. Like if we look at the last 12 months, just in life in general, different things have happened, right? They're depending on where you live in the world, you could be in a recession, you could, there's talk of, the energy crisis, the cost of living, there's lots of different things that are going on in the last 12 months. If you look at the last 3 years, think of all the things that have happened, like environmentally, politically, all of that impacts how your ideal client thinks and what they want, which is why that you're always coming back to them to do market research. So that is a key for this, which is why the circle exists. And all of this is important to be able to generate leads. What I see a lot of people doing is they get cocky and arrogant and think that they know their ideal client, don't go back and do market research, which means that everything else then, it's a domino effect. So it all starts to fall down and starts to fail, which is why you see a lot of coaches going out of business in their first year to 18 months, because this process is not being followed. They do one and then forget about everything else, or they'll go back and fix another one and then still forget about everything else. So the cycle is necessary. These are foundations, and they're a non-negotiable. Like the way I describe it, and I get my clients to do this, it's like building a house. You've got to put in your foundations first. You've got to put them in. So like your client section is your foundation. If you do not put them in, then what are you building on? You could be building on like sand, you could be building on water, you could be building on, like quicksand. It could be anything. But the point of it is it's not stable. So you've got to build your foundations, and then you can start building your walls, which is your credibility. And then you put your roof, your windows, all that, and then you fill it. You fill it with all the nice stuff. Fill it with all the nice stuff, which is like your group programs, memberships, masterminds, all of that. You fill it. You've got to have the rest of it first in your business before you can fill it. Otherwise, it just falls apart. So my question to you is, what would it do for you and your coaching business if you had consistent leads? If you had the leads that I just shared with you there that are being brought in, what difference would it make to your business? Would you see an increase in the volume of sales? Would you finally be able to, if you're new, be able to bring in one-to-one clients? Would you actually be able to scale and have your group program? Could you have a mastermind? Could you have a membership? Like the possibilities become endless when you have those consistent leads coming in, and when you have the foundations. I cannot say this enough. The foundations have got to be in. They have got to be in before you can build on anything else. And if you haven't built your foundations yet and you've been in business for a while, don't beat yourself up about it. Like it's not that unusual for that to happen. And know that you're going to go back over it again and again and again, because we'll always go back to basics to make sure that we have everything in place so that we have a sustainable, profitable business that goes into the future that we can build a legacy with, right? And a legacy can look different for everybody. My legacy, this is what I want to create. But, for somebody else, it might be, well, that, I want that stable, like 6-figure revenue so that I have like a decent salary coming in. Great. It gets to look like whatever you want it to look like. There's no right or wrong, good or bad with this, but know what it would do for you if you had consistent leads coming in. So I have an offer for you. So I have an amazing program. It's a Land Your Leads program. So it's a 4-month coaching program, and it's 997. It's normally 1500, but it's 997 just for this masterclass. So you can learn the details behind what it takes to actually generate organic, high quality leads in your business. What we go through, so what's covered in the modules is literally what we talked about today. So it goes down deep into your niche, into your messaging, into creating your content for your social media, which is awesome because it breaks down how you know what to focus on, the wants, and then how to phrase your social media posts for that, which is where I see a lot of people going wrong, is that it's too wishy-washy. This gets to be direct, it'll land, it'll connect. So all of that is in there, plus how you actually build out your collaborative events and what collaborative events you focus on to be able to generate the specific leads for your business, because each coach will be different. And something that I see in my industry is where we do the cookie cutter thing, and then we wonder why it doesn't work for everybody. But this is why, is because what will work for you may not work for somebody else. Collaborations always work, but your approach to them gets to shift depending on the type of audience that you're looking to serve, and specifically where they hang out. So not all audiences exist on every single solitary social media platform. They exist on some, and then you get to collaborate to pull them in, to niche them in, so that you can generate sales out the back end. So what else is included in this program? So you get lifetime access to the modules. So in there are actual tutorials. There is presentations, there's support worksheets, there's audios, there's swipe files that I use, like between emails, social media, all that stuff is in there. And then we get 2 group coaching calls every month where you'll be coached by me, and you get to ask any questions that will support you in landing your leads. So it's in generating new leads for you, and even how to convert them. That all happens over the 4-month period, and you get lifetime access to the modules. So I'm going to drop the link here for you to be able to book a call with me if this interests you. But the link that I'm giving you gives you the breakdown of the program, so you can see what's included and what's not. And then you actually click the button to be able to book a call with me in there. So this is great to be able to boost your leads. And like I said, I have 100% success rate with my clients. So you're in really, really good hands. For anybody on this masterclass today, so whether you're on LinkedIn, YouTube, or you're here with me on Zoom, specifically I have bonuses available for you just until the 8th of May. So you've got to book before the 8th of May. So with that, I will give you a 60-minute one-on-one strategy with me, where we'll have a look at your business, and I'll build out with you your next 12-month plan, where you get to focus on, where you get to lean into. And if there's an area that is obscure for you or you're not sure where to go, I will build that out with you. I'm also giving you access to my emails, specifically the email sales sequence that generated 27K in one launch for me on the back end of a collaborative event, so that you get to see what goes into it. There's a particular sales psychology that works when it comes to generating sales, and you get to pitch it at there's a certain way and certain flow that you get to pitch sales so that they land, and so that people actually want to come and be able to work with you. So I'm gifting you access to that too. So those bonuses are available until the 8th of May only, and then they're gone, and they're only specific for the people that attended the masterclass. So anyone that didn't attend doesn't get access to those bonuses, even if they join the program. So imagine if your inboxes look like this. This is just a quick snapshot of some of the messages that I get, which is pretty cool, right? Imagine if yours looked like this. Wouldn't it be awesome? Pretty cool. We have gone right back. They want me to repeat this. I'm going to go do it again. So just a reminder, so Land Your Leads program. So it's a 4-month coaching program, and it's 997 specifically for this masterclass. It's normally 1500. The modules are all online. I will show you exactly how to build out your collaborative events depending on what is supportive for you, and you will get access to the stuff that we talked about today. And the bonuses are available up until the 8th only, and then they're gone. They're specific only to this masterclass. So I hope to see you all there. I want to be able to work with you and get you to a point where you're generating leads that actually will generate clients for you, instead of having like all these people, like spend all this time on social media and not generating anything at the back end, or bringing people onto your email list that actually aren't your ideal clients. Let's get you to a place where you have client or leads coming in consistently that are specifically for you, so that you can have clients, so that you can create whatever business it is that you want. So does anybody have any questions that they want to ask? You're all sitting there with lovely smiley faces on you. If you have any questions, shout them out. More than happy to answer them. No? You're all good? Awesome. Okay, well, I hope you got screenshots of whatever it is that you wanted, and I look forward to seeing whoever books the call. See you there.